numbers, man. Good job, Morning Roast. Sock it to me. Hey. Yeah.
So, you guys always call me Bougie Bonte. Shout out to Larry June. He got a banger out right now. I was watching the video. You guys all call me Bougie Bonte. You know, I'm wearing Gucci's, Dior,
because you're
all the stuff.
B-O-N-T-A.
You know, I'll tuck out the gold chains from time to time and show them off.
Yeah.
Whatever, I'm going to tuck them in because I got the NBC polo on today. But we got Laura Britt out in Scottsdale, Arizona.
I see
and I'm going
this.
to start calling her Bougie Britt. Because you see the shades right now.
Yeah.
You see the phone.
They're
no
the Jane
AirPods.
Fondas.
She's got the fat diamonds in the ear.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to Mr. Britt for that. I mean, she is rolling right now.
Time out. She's self-made.
She is self-made.
No knock on him.
No knock on him.
Right?
She is
Because my
self-made.
wife says it all the time.
What?
If I didn't have you, I'd actually be dipping in more gold.
You make a great point. All
right.
Bougie Britt, Burly Game Britt, whatever you want to call her. Shout out to Tyler Miller.
Independent.
She's got the shades on with the glasses. She's in Scottsdale, Arizona as our Giants correspondent here on the Morning Roast. Mrs. Britt, how you doing today?
Hello, quite the intro. You guys always really pump me up for this. By the way, these were a gift from Mr. Britt.
Oh, so there you go.
I know. I
stand
know a good
corrected.
man. I know Mr. Britt's taste, baby. He's got to make the wife happy.
So if you're watching us on YouTube right now, Laura, you're in Scottsdale.
Scottsdale.
Yes. And it's not as bougie as it sounds because it's freezing here.
Really?
I was
Oh, wow.
doing Chinese before this segment. My hands are frozen. These are the types of things that I do for you guys. I'm sitting outside.
I thought it was the ice around your ring finger that made your fingers
I'm
frozen.
so
You like
icy.
that? You like that, Shaska?
I
Come
do.
on.
That
You
was
like
good.
that? And by the way,
Actually, I didn't know I needed to bring my winter coat. I'm not kidding. It's in the 40s.
wow.
Really?
I know it's cold
That's
in the
shocking.
area right now, too, but it's super cold. It's been very windy. I was not expecting this from Arizona. I'm a little disappointed.
Well, Drew down on our YouTube page is saying that, Laura Britt is the most exciting thing about Giants baseball this season. Let's hope that's not the case because that doesn't mean there's going to be a lot of wins. No disrespect, Laura Britt, but we need this team to be exciting here to get us through at least September and hopefully the playoffs. So I know the streets were telling me yesterday you had a nice sit down with Giants manager Gabe Kapler. Now, when will it air on NBC Sports Bay Area, and what was the conversation like with Gabe Kapler?
Wow, you've got the inside information, Bonte.
I got
You're a
sources.
company man today wearing the polo.
You like that?
See that. And Joe, by the way, has his Giants jacket on today.
And the Olympic Club gear. Olympic Club as well. He rocks.
Well, my
He
season
reps.
starts next Tuesday. I've been in spring training mode for the last month and a half.
So I'm not exactly sure when that will air, but I do want to encourage people to watch whenever that does air with Gabe Kapler. It's going to be very different, a different side of Gabe than what you're used to seeing. It's not dugout Gabe, manager Gabe at work. It's a laid back. He picked the restaurant, this super cool spot in Phoenix. You can only go down one elevator to get there. And when you walk in, the elevator doors open and it's all wood panels. And it was a really, really cool spot. So thanks, Gabe, for that. But we had a 2-hour dinner with Gabe Kapler, myself and Alex Pavlovich, our Giants insider. We sat down with him. He sat for an hour after we filmed and had a great chat. We ate some delicious food. The conversation was a lot more laid back. Of course, anybody at work, you're a lot more buttoned up. You're a lot more professional. But this was a laid back version of Gabe. We talked about some of his playing days, what happened last season, coming into this season. Why is he so insane about food? He did eat dessert, by the way. He ordered 3.
What?
So we tried all
tiramisu.
Tried all the desserts. It was creme brulee.
Oh, yeah, I love creme brulee.
S'mores cake.
Oh.
And a peach sorbet with some kind of brittle on top. But he tasted all of them. We did family style. So we all ordered, and we all shared food. It was really good, and I think that it's going to be a good, different side to Gabe that people are going to be able to see on NBC Sports Bay Area. So I'll let y'all know when we know exactly when it's going to air. But
I just hope you picked up the bill.
The poor editor that has to edit this is 2 hours of footage.
Wow.
So it's going to take a little bit of time.
I just hope you picked up the bill. At least he could do.
Well, Hathaway did.
Oh.
Right?
NBC might have gotten it.
Man, he was in Capilindo last night watching Capilindo win, and his daughter, Libby.
Moraga, big money. I'm
absolutely.
not surprised.
Yeah, that's true.
Laura, all right, look, I'm looking at this Giants team. I love this team. Ride or die all year. Even when they're terrible, I'll hate watch because I have a sickness, right? I don't want to hear about Taylor and Tyler Rogers. They're brothers. I'm already sick of that one. Who's the player that you think Giants fans are really going to wrap their arms around that maybe we don't see coming into this year?
It's not that you don't see him. I've had a lot of good discussions with a ton of players. That's what we're doing over these next few days and the past few days is just a ton of interviews. We've also got a new segment that's going to be debuting. And you know who I really enjoyed talking to in this new segment? I can't spill the beans yet about what it is, but be on the lookout for it. David VR.
Really?
A really, really great personality, drive like you've never seen, wants to be the best, goes in and approaches the off season, with his whole heart into it. He went out and bought, the Giants used a pitching machine but turned upside down.
Yeah, the red one.
The little red machine.
We use it for ground balls.
Yeah, exactly, to get the gnarly spin or whatever. So he went out and bought one himself, practices, all the time with that kind of stuff. I think it shows dedication. He's just such a lighthearted, fun-loving guy. And I know that sounds, Giants fans listening are like, okay, great that he's lighthearted and fun, and I want to know about baseball. We just got out of an interview with Logan Webb, and there is something to the lightheartedness because baseball is such a different sport with how long the season is. You have to approach it. I think a good clubhouse is a bunch of guys that realize this is a kid's game that we're playing, because when you've gone on a 7-game losing streak or, multiple, it's a game of failure. If you don't approach it with some lightheartedness or have that infused into your clubhouse, then it can get a lot like last season and how Logan Webb said they got complacent. Talk to him about how do you avoid that. And a lot of it is in spring. I asked him about when do you know if you've got the good vibe of the team that you've been talking about? Like how early do you know that? He actually said you can tell in spring training.
Wow.
You can tell that early. So it really seems like they're putting together a group of guys that are going to be able to weather those kinds of storms. It was a disappointing offseason. There's no doubt about it for Giants fans listening. And you might not, you see Aaron Judge and Carlos Correa, however people feel about the Correa thing that ended up, now we know the full story, but they've really added some pieces. I do think they're a better team going into this season than they were at the end of last season.
I could see that.
So it a lot of it just from being here, and guys coming into spring training are fresh.
Right.
Everybody's excited. They're fresh. They've come off of, the off season. So it's a little bit hard to tell this early. There's just so much excitement here right now, and guys are happy to be here and ready to work. So it's going to take a little bit of testing during the season to see what this team is really made of. But so far, I've been really impressed.
Laura Britt, NBC Sports Bay Area Giants pre- and post-game host, should be doing it again this season. Of course, she was with the Niners, doing that for a couple years. She knows all about Bay Area sports, also fills in from time to time on the Warriors broadcast crew, doing a little Dubs Talk Live as well. She's down in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I guess one of the prospects we all want to know about is Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison out of De La Salle High School. How has he looked so far in spring training, Laura?
Well, we talked to Logan Webb about that, and everybody, I talked to Gabe Kapler about it last night as well at that dinner. Very excited about him. He is, you hear a lot about his professionalism, and you hear him in media, and you're like, how is this guy so polished and he's so young? He is so polished. Gabe said, he sat down for a dinner with Kyle Harrison, and he was asking the staff, what do I need to know about this guy? And they were like, he's basically perfect. And Gabe left the dinner with Kyle Harrison, and he was like, he's basically perfect. So there's a lot of excitement around his athleticism, his passion. Logan was talking about the live BP that Kyle Harrison threw the other day, and he had a really great session, but Kyle came off the mound mad. And Logan said, I saw, I kind of talked him down, but I saw myself in that. I'm like that too. And so the standard that he holds himself to is really high. And I think there's reason to be hype. I think Giants fans should be very excited about Kyle Harrison on the field and off the field.
Who does he remind you more of? Because we've only seen highlights, right? Is it more like Bumgarner kind of slinging it from the left-hand side, or is it more Rodon where it's power from that left-hand side? Because, it's tough for me to judge when you don't watch, multiple starts in a row. You know what I mean? I'm an eyeball guy.
Yeah, I didn't get to see his live BP because I was in a bunch of interviews.
Okay.
So I'm upstairs in a room, and I've got guys. It's spring training is a scheduling.
Right.
Praise to the Giants for what they do, because we've got guys lined up all day. So I actually didn't get to see him, But I am looking forward to that. I've only been able to hear from what other guys have said about what he's been able to do this spring so far. But we did have Alex Pavlovich sat down with him for a long interview. You'll hear that on the Giants Talk podcast coming up in the next few weeks.
Let's go.
And he was really impressive when he came in. I got to meet him for a few minutes and just really impressed with him there. But I am looking forward to, like you, Shafsky, going and seeing him
for sure
in person, kind of getting to get that sense of him, because I haven't gotten the chance to yet.
Well, and I think what sucks, and you kind of have alluded or referenced the, like, hey, they missed out on Aaron Judge at Correa. And like, yeah, I hear all that. They also lost Carlos Rodon. And Carlos Rodon was so exciting to me. Lincecum's like, he's a comet, it's once in a blue moon where a pitcher is that exciting. Rodon was not Lincecum, but damn, he was fun. And he was awesome. And he was a competitor. And I know we want to be risk averse and not give everybody who's a pitcher a 4- and 5-year deal. But like, I feel like they're missing a lot of sex appeal in this rotation. When you lose Carlos Rodon, Laura, I looked forward to his games.
What about Sean Manaea and his hair, Shasky?
No, he's a nice guy, but Rodon was like top.
No,
he was
Cy
Young level type of a pitcher. You know what I mean, Laura?
You want the fire of Rodon.
Exactly.
I love watching him. I liked seeing him get fired up.
Me too.
To himself on the mound.
Right.
Like pacing around. That's exciting. And Sean Manaea is not that. Obviously, he's like the nicest person in the world. But it's a different thing. I will say, Carlos Rodon deservingly so, wanted to go get his payday. And
for sure.
You want guys that want to be here. And so there's that aspect of it, too. I know that's not the most exciting answer or what people probably want to hear, but I don't even know if they would have paid or matched that. Like, he wanted to be with the Yankees. And you've got to have guys that want to be here. And he was so fun to watch. And it was, every time he stepped on that mound, it was much must-watch TV. And I'm going to miss that fire, too. But I think there's a lot to be excited about. This is not to be cheesy and be like, oh, yeah, pump up the Giants. But just sitting down with Logan Webb, this was 10 minutes ago that I was just with him, 20 minutes ago that I was just with him. The Giants are really lucky to have a guy like that. He has this childhood love for the game.
I agree.
He does.
And he really cares about this organization, really cares about this team. And, oh, yeah, he's really freaking good.
Yeah.
On top of that. So I think that will permeate throughout the clubhouse, and it's this new generation. Crawford's the tie to the old teams, and Logan Webb is the new generation of Giants, and he's homegrown. He's from here. There's a lot to be excited about with Logan Webb and the new guys coming up.
I really like Logan Webb, and I'm surprised they haven't bought out his arbitration years yet. I think that will come at some point. And he had a quote-unquote down year last year. Still pretty good.
Logan Webb was really good post All-Star break, too. Even though he was a little down, the numbers still shake out like, okay, this is a top of rotation guy.
Absolutely. The guy that I'm most curious about, because it feels like it's just like an afterthought, what is going on with Joey Bart?
Yeah, I was going to ask
Laura,
that.
What's going on?
Well, I guess the question I had, because I was going to ask about Joey Bart, too, Shasky, is he locked in as a starting catcher of the Giants? Because I'm hearing rumblings that he's going to be Austin Wynn. Are you serious?
Austin Wynn is apparently. Well, again, these are what I'm reading. What's your read?
Well, I asked Gabe Kapler the other day about how he decides where to spend his time during spring training, because there are so many players here. There are so many guys here. How do you, as a manager, decide? And he mentioned, the positions that are big competition. And he mentioned the catchers, and we've been seeing them do a lot of drills, rotating through all the catchers, doing a lot of drills. I don't know. It's hard to tell if coaches are using that as motivation. We can only go off of what they say. It's hard to tell if that's just a motivation piece.
Gotcha.
It seems to me like it's going to be Joey Bart, but there's no confirmation 100% on that. From what we've heard, this is a battle. This is a competition, and they've got a lot of guys competing at that spot, which I think is a good thing. You want to have as much competition at any position as possible, and may the best man win.
Yeah. Damn. Number 2 picks in the Bay Area. James Wiseman gone. Trey Lance we don't know about. And now we don't know whether or not Joey Bart's going to start at catcher. That would be disappointing.
And next time we talk to you,
Right.
Laura, we're going to talk about the pitch com and this false narrative that some of the pitchers didn't like throwing to Joey Bart. There's a pitch com. They can choose
Right.
whatever pitch they want to throw at any time. They can call their own game, but not now. We'll do that later, and I'll get
Frisco
into
Shasky
all the
appearing.
rules of baseball that are getting me
Science
fired
baseball.
up.
Look at him fired up. I
I'm
wish he
so
was just
fired
fired
up.
up about the Warriors.
I need to take a flight out to
Man.
Arizona and start taking some ground
It's cold
balls.
out there. I'm good off the
Come in a
cold.
month. Don't come now.
Right.
I'll be there in May.
40
I'm going in May.
degrees. Well, at least you left Carlos Ramirez at home. He's not bothering there in that cold weather.
Well, that's mean.
No, we love Carlos. We were just giving him a shot. That's all. Shout out to David Tella, Pavlovich as well down there. Laura, you're the best. We'll talk soon. We'll talk
Have a
soon,
good
Laura.
one.
Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Anytime, Laura Britt, host on NBC Sports Bay Area, pre and post game of the San Francisco Giants, doing a great job in the Stunner Shades with the bling bling on.
I loved it.
Look at that.
I loved it.
I was going to get love.